joined now by Mike Jackson. And Mike, I wish we were speaking on better terms here, but obviously a bit of a controversy yesterday, kind of a viral clip with you and Jake Shields at the UFC PI. But it's like a 15-second video, and then stuff gets cut off. I guess in your words, can you explain what happened and kind of what led to all this?
Well, before I even do that, I'm just curious for someone who only saw that 15-second clip. What was your I'm assuming you understand the history between Jake and I via like Twitter and shit.
Yeah, of course. Like obviously, okay, you guys go back.
So knowing that, and then you seeing that 15-second clip of something that was probably a 5-minute interaction, what was your thoughts first?
I mean, I guess surprised that it got physical in that situation at the UFC PI. Obviously, neither of you guys have a fight in the UFC coming up, to my knowledge, and to have that happen in that scenario, I'm sure that's not exactly professional. But I also know that Jake posts things that are at best controversial on social media, and I know you guys have gone back and forth, and I guess I'm not particularly surprised to see that. But for me, yeah, it was really kind of hard to tell exactly what led to that point. If there was something physical that happened,
that's
up, or if he blindsided you and grabbed you, or whatever. There wasn't exactly a ton of context to what happened before.
And that's, if I were in the same position, like that's what I would have thought as well. But that's not what happened. See, and this is what happens when you only see a 15-second clip posted from the people who are trying to like get the views. But before I get in, I want to like clarify a few things, which is going to give sort of my logic and the way I think some foundation. So I kind of have to pinpoint this during the conversation. We live in American culture and American society right now. The foundation of it is built on white supremacy and systemic oppression. That's not debatable, right? For me, I look at life like it's essentially the makeup of everything is racist versus anti-racist, right? So if you have one side, you have anti-racist, you have the other side who's racist, and then you have this middle line, right? My way of thinking, if you're on this middle line, anywhere from the middle line on the fence to the extreme Hitler, David Duke, Leopold people, you're a Nazi, you're a white supremacist, you're a white nationalist, and everywhere between. If you're on the fence and you looking at some white nationalist behavior and you just like, damn, they doing some white nationalist stuff, but you go drink your coffee, that means you're siding with white supremacy because you're not doing nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's my outlook. And I know I call a lot of people Nazis and white supremacists. It's because they fall on that. Now, they could be on the fence. But if you're on the fence and on that side, it's all encompassing of when me calling someone a Nazi or a white nationalist. And the reason I don't call people racist or the white people racist, first of all, only white people can be racist. So this idea that Jake Paul likes to call me a racist, all he's doing is trying to gentrify oppression with this theory that, Nazis are made up about anti-white rhetoric. That's a lot. That's not real, right? So that's what his logic and narrative is. He's trying to push this, you're anti-white. That's not a thing, right? So you have these people like Roxanne Modafferi, Sam Alvey, Gordon Ryan, like all these people who see Jake as like a friend, right? He can't be racist. Dewey Cooper, who out of all of this, that's the person I'm most disappointed with, a black guy in this situation. He's like, that's my friend, Jake not racist. That's not how racism works. You know what I'm saying? People think racism is like, you're Hitler and that's it. It's like, no, there's microaggressions. There's people who like to, look at you eating watermelon. All of that's racism. And people don't understand that because when you're talking about them, they don't want to be seen as like the bad guy. So that's my summation real quick of what I look at as racist versus anti-racist, right? So that's why Jake, his whole thing is trying to gentrify oppression. So, Mike's a racist because he's anti-white. That's not a lie. First of all, and as I tell the story, I'm going to add that piece in. So here's the totality of the event. I'm at the PI, minding my own business upstairs, working out with my trainer. And it's just the two of us upstairs, right? So, and where I was in the gym, I was on the mat space with the heavy bag, and it was right next to the stairs on the PI going down, right? So I'm working out on the bag. My back is turned to the stairs, but I hear some voices come up, right? Again, it was only two people. It was me, myself, and my trainer who was upstairs. So when I hear voices, you know, you naturally like, oh, who is that, right? Well, when I turn around, it's this. He looks like a fucking gorilla, Jake Shields. He's probably like 230, 240 right now, just steroided up, right? So when I turn around and look at him, he's just looking at me like, ugh. And then I'm looking like, oh, it's Jake Shields. Now, again, I understand the beef between he and I have on social media, right? But my mind is like, we're at the PI in a business setting, right? I know he's not in the UFC, so therefore he's a guest at the PI. Oh, and shit ain't gonna be fine. And again, there are cameras everywhere, which is hilarious that given we're in a space that has cameras everywhere that recorded the whole event that I'm going to be talking to my attorneys with, they only posted a 15-second. First of all, I don't even know why they did that, but whatever. So I'm looking at Jake, and he was like, oh, it's this piece of shit racist Mike Jackson. Now, the majority of everything he says, because I'm not going to keep repeating what he said, the summation of everything he said for this 5 minutes from the time he walked up until the time I left, all he did was say, Mike Jackson, you're a piece of shit racist, fight me. That's the summation of the 5 minutes of all the words that came out of his mouth. So he's standing there and he's doing the whole like, piece of shit Mike Jackson. I'm like, cool. Can I get back to my workout though? Because again, I'm thinking he's obviously here with a fighter working. Go do what you came here to do. Go work. Go. And then the PI so big, go over there upstairs on the other side. Go work out, do your thing. So he's saying his shit. I'm like, cool. Can I finish my workout? And he's saying his shit. I'm trying to like finish my workout. Now he starts like coming at me. So in my mind, again, we're at the PI. What is he really going to do with the PI, right? Because again, people are watching this right now. So I'm thinking, all right, he's not going to do anything. And he kind of has that, like his body mannerisms are kind of like, you know how like two friends, like who are like two, like you have friends who are like guys, particularly kind of like play fighting, but like look serious. That's what it looked like. But I know Jake Shields. So it's like, he looks like he's that fake serious, but I know he's serious, right? So the whole again, I still have my gloves on too, because again, I'm punching the bag. So as he's coming to me, you know, my hands are here because I don't know what he's gonna do. So still running his mouth. And in my mind, so here's the other thing about, let me add the preface to this. The whole situation, I just had surgery on my face. So I'm not even supposed to be chewing anything, right? So and the UFC pay, that's the whole thing, right? Like the UFC paid for this surgery. I don't think the UFC wants this dude to fuck up the money that they just spent on me, but whatever, right? So as he's approaching me, I keep stepping back, trying to create space like, Jake, go fuck around. Like, I'm trying to work out here. Like, leave me alone. And he's piece of shit racist, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, cool, that's me, but let me get back to my workout, right? This motherfucker spits on me. So in that moment, I'm like, what do I do? Also, after this, is Jake Shields, Dewey Cooper, and he got like 5 of his boys with him, right? Who I'm assuming are fighters who are at the PI, right? So it's essentially 7-on-2. And then my trainer, he has no idea what's going on. He's like, what? Because he knows Jake. So he's like, wait, what? He's a peacemaker. He's trying to settle things down. I'm the only one who really knows what's going on, right? So all this, they're trying to separate me. He spits on me, and I'm like, all right, what do I do? And I was like, well, this motherfucker, I can get a lick off, right? What if he catches me in the face, fucks the surgery up? But then I'm thinking about his boys he got with him. Again, now at this point, is me versus a gang. It's a gang of thugs with Jake Shields as the ringleader, right? So when he spits on me, I'm like, all right, fuck this. Like, I'm definitely not doing. But then again, I'm like, this is on camera, right? So Dewey, he's like, man, come on, man, just walk away right now, man. Just walk it off, man. Like, y'all need to talk about this. Like, y'all need to squash this beef that y'all have. But right now, just like walk away. And I'm like, just let me get my shit. So Jake is still like running his mouth, right? So Dewey, he kind of like puts his arm like that, and he marks, like, if you're going down the stairs, there's that middle breezeway on the stairs between the first and second floor. So we kind of like standing in this breeze, and he got his arm. He's like, man, just calm down. Like, I know Jake. Jake not racist. And I'm just like, I don't give a fuck what you saying right now. I get that's your boy, but this ain't got nothing to do with you. He's like, no, Jake not racist. Just calm down. We're gonna work this out. As we down in the middle, these motherfuckers still up there running their mouth, right? So I say, fine, let me just get my stuff and I'm gonna burn out. So I had things in two different places. I had my bag, which was right when you walk up the stairs, it was near the cage. And then I had like my clothes that my hoodie and everything was by the cage door. Important to the conversation. So I'm coming up because he was like, Drew was like, oh, you just gonna get your stuff, you're gonna leave, right? And I was like, yeah, just let me get my shit, get out of here. So, man, this motherfucker, like, that's why I'm so disappointed with Dewey. Like, as a black man, he just saw this fucking Nazi piece of shit spit on me and then acknowledge it. Like, that's why I'm so pissed off with Dewey over all this, right? But anyway, so I go back up. I'm trying to get my bag, get everything in my bags. Now it's like it's all of his people now. The whole team is here now, right? They're trying to like surround me and shit. So where the stairs are, Jake is kind of like where the stairs and the mirrors are at the upstairs PI. So I'm turning because again, I don't want to like really take my eyes off this dude because he's already like kept flinching at me, like I had to like period cut like a punch because he threw a punch at me and like I was like, bro, like, and this is why I had gloves on. I wanted to still actually when he came in, he like threw a little fake and I kind of threw a check hook, like, bro, what the fuck? Point is, I didn't want him to hit me in the face. So I was like, man, let me not really hit this guy because then it's really because now he's kind of like just flinching at me. But if I hit him, it's going to turn into a fight. He got his boys right here too behind. Like, again, it's him. I don't think Dewey going to do nothing, but it's him and then the 5 other little dudes that's with him, right? So I'm like, all right. So I'm getting my stuff. He now goes and gets in the cage because that's like he's inside the cage, but in front of me. So I'm like looking down, trying to get and he jumps on the cage and he slaps me on the top of the head. And I look up and I'm just like, let me get my shit and get it. Because I don't need to be here right now. This is dangerous for me, right? So I'm getting my stuff. He jumps back up and he spits on me again. And at this point, I'm in my mind, I'm so frustrated at the situation because I can't really do anything. I can't do anything for health reasons, for my own person. But then I'm looking at it, it's like I'm at the PI. Like, I don't know what their protocol is. Like, I don't know if I engage with him, they're gonna kick us both out. Like, I have no idea in this moment, right? But again, I'm at the PI, cameras are everywhere, someone's seeing this shit, right? So he spits on me again. I'm just like, dog, what the fuck? And then Dewey is literally right next to me because when we come back up, I'm telling Dewey's like, yo, I'm just gonna get my stuff. And then Dewey's like, you just gonna get your stuff, right? So I'm like, yeah. So when I go back up, I get my stuff. All this is going on. He's like, bro, you talking? And I was like, yeah, because he's like, when you talk like this is your man, get your man. So he's in the cage. He's talking shit like, yo, come in here right now. Fight me right now. And I'm like, I'm not fighting you at the PI. Like, what are we talking about right now? So he ends up coming back out the cage, still running his mouth. I ended up like, I said some shit and he was trying to tell me like, I'm talking about white people. Look, here's the other thing. I've never said anything about white people. It just so happens that the people I'm talking about are white. You know, like these people are so ignorant to life. Like they have no common sense. So he's running his mouth saying, you hate white people. And I'm like, I don't hate white people. I only hate people like you who are Nazis. When I called him a Nazi, one of his little thug friends, like, again, I'm not even looking at him, from behind, just he might as well just punch me in the back of the shoulder, right? But it was the biggest shove. Room, Jake is no Nazi. And I'm like, what the? I wanted to steal off on this dude, but again, I'm surrounded. But if I hit him, these cats gonna jump me. So he pushed me, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So I'm like, all right, let me just get my shit. So now I'm walking to where the cage is I get my stuff. He's still kind of harassing me or whatever. I'm coming back because I went to get my hoodie and sweats to come back to my bag, put in my bag, and go downstairs. So I come back around the cage to where my bag is. He's kind of in the same area. I turn to get my bag, and this dude grabs me and pulls me down to the ground. So this is right before this. So he pulls me down to the ground. He's in siren control. So I'm kind of sitting there. Because it happened so slow, the pull down. I didn't feel like I was like in real danger. Here's it, like, because I'm at the PI. Also, I'm looking up and the people are looking at me. So I'm like, all right, I'm at the PI. I'm not in like any real danger here. I just like got to get up. So I'm like, all right, guys, like, can we get this dude off me? Like, what are we doing here? And they just looking. They couldn't fucking do it. They all just looking. So I'm like, all right, guys, like, what are we doing here? Can like we get this dude off me? And they just looking. Then that's when the video recording. That's when the video that he posted, that's when it starts. And then I'm like, yo, get this motherfucker off me. Like, because what are we doing at this? Like, again, we're at the PI. I'm over here trying to fucking work out. You came over here. I don't know what the fuck you came here for. Go do that. But you over here laying on top of me trying to beat me up because I called you a Nazi because you was doing Nazi things. But whatever, right? So we're on the ground. And again, my body is right on this apron. It's like a metal bar that holds the apron. So my body is against this metal bar. And I have this 230-pound gorilla of a Jake Shields just laying on me. By the way, when he was throwing his punches, I see what people are saying is like how Jake Shields can't punch. It made sense because the punch he threw and I parried it, and I was like, bro, if that would have hit me, like, that wouldn't have really done shit. It was later in my mind, right? So when I'm on the ground, I got like I had like head control and I had an overhook. And so I'm on the ground and in my head I'm like, oh, I don't want this dude to hit me that was all. And when I was on the ground at this point, it was like, all right, I can't let him hit me in the face because I go to the doctor on Monday and I don't want to tell him like, yo, my shit's messed up now. You got to do surgery again because fucking Nazi Jake Shields, right? So I'm laying here and I'm like, yo, can somebody get this motherfucker off me? He ends up he kind of like slithers away. He gets the mount. So when he gets the mount, I'm like, all right, I can't let him hit. At this point, I'm like, all right, just don't let him hit him in the face. So that's why I cover up here and I'm just kind of like waiting. And then I'm like, but also I'm like, your boys, like, someone get this big motherfucker off me. Like, what are we talking about here, right? He stops, like, he was talking shit. He was throwing his little bitch punches. And then I grab him, pull him back down. I get his head again. I get the overhook. And in that moment, I was like, oh shit, this is a street fight. I fucking let go of the overhook. I reach around his head and I hit him with that Dean Barry special. And I gouge his eyes, right? So when I'm I'm doing like this, I'm trying to find the eye socket, and I found it, and I dug in a little bit, and I started to rip right. He kind of like he didn't even acknowledge that, right? He didn't even say ow, which is funny because when they finally got him up, he had blood running down his face, right? So here's the other thing. I know the motherfucker spit on me, right? Which was so disrespectful and such a fucking white nationalist thing to do. I washed that off. But when Jake Shield look in the mirror every day, and whether he goes blind, because I couldn't tell if I hit the eyeball or if it was like on the skin here. I think it was the skin though. But whenever he looks in the mirror and he sees the little mark, that little abrasion, that's going to be forever there for me, gouging his eye out. He's going to remember me. He's going to remember the anti-Nazi Mike Jackson or whatever the fuck he wants to call me. He's going to remember I did that, right? So, but anyway, so they pull me off, and then I'm just like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, I was like, you really, this is what we doing here, right? And again, all of this is assault.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, like the dude is running around saying like I punched him or I threw a punch or something. Look, none of that's true. And here's why I know none of that's true. One, I didn't throw a punch at the guy, but all of this is on video.
Yeah.
Like all of this is on video. So I finally get my stuff. I'm going downstairs, and then when I walk out into the lobby, that's when the little video that I posted on my Instagram was like, yo, Nazi just did a thing. That's when I recorded it. So I sit down on the couch, and then one of the heads of the PI walked, like and you could tell like he saw the video. And he walks over, was like, yo, like, are you good? Like, what's going on? And then I'm just kind of, because again, I ain't never been in a situation like this where I've been essentially jumped by some thugs, right? So in this situation, I'm sitting there like, man, I don't even know what's going on right now. So he says, just sound we'll take care of it. So then Forrest walks over, and he had this look on his face that I never had seen him with. And he's just like, Mike, like, are you all right? And it kind of felt weird for Forrest to say, because like Forrest is Forrest. He's Forrest Griffin, Ultimate Fighter, all this shit. And to watch him come over and show concern was it was in that moment, I was like, this is weird. But he was like, hey, like, are you good? We saw what happened. Like, you good? And then I was like, man, I don't know. So he was like, well, we gonna ban, like he's banned. Like Jake Shields can never come back to the PI. And I was like, all right, that's cool. He was like, so what you want to do? And I was like, what you mean what I want to do? He said, well, he can't come back to the PI. Do you want to leave it at that? Or you want to like press charges? And I was like, man, I don't know. So he kind of like, well, just think about it and get back to me. So I was like, cool. I go take a shower to watch this piece of shit spit off of me, right? And then I'm going to get some lunch. Sitting down to get some lunch is when I realized this motherfucker, like he had one of his boys that was there. Because in the moment I couldn't see because it was like over my shoulder behind me. So I couldn't see the dude recording. So as I'm sitting down about to eat, I realized I'm looking at the video, but then the video is only 15 seconds. So I'm like, first of all, I'm laughing, right? I was like, I couldn't believe that a dude who just assaulted me would post a video of said assault. And this is a crazy, let me put it right. It's a crazy thing where people are like, oh, y'all are fighters and y'all are at the, someone even said, oh, it was at the PI in a controlled environment. None of that's true. I'm minding my business, working out, and then this fucking thug comes and assaults me. Where in life is that okay? And the crazy thing, the people like that are defending him, and then all the people defending him are white nationalists or MMA, like hardcore MMA fans, right? Y'all are supposed to be on the side of law and order. He broke a law, and y'all are vouching for the guy. But again, I understand the narrative is all about your perspective. You can be a white nationalist and you can do some shit over there, but as long as it's not against white nationalism, then they're good with it, right? There is no hypocrisy to these thugs, right? Anyway, I'm watching the video. I see he only posted a 15-second video. This shit's blowing up. A few moments later, security walks over and he was like, hey, Mike, man, just want to let you, and this is the first time I'm seeing this guy, and he's like, hey, man, I just, like, we saw the video. What you want to press charges? I was like, yep, press charges. And it's just like, you did this. Like, Jake should, and the thug in him, and it really was the white fragility in him, right? So when he walks up, and again, I know we have our issues, but in that moment, when he walks up and sees me at the PI, he can do his little, and oh, fuck you, piece of shit, Mike Jackson. He can do all of that. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to get back to my workout. At that moment, he should have swallowed his white nationalist pride and went over there and did whatever the fuck that he came to the PI. He didn't come to the PI to fuck with me, or maybe he did. I don't know. I'm under the impression that he came to the PI to do whatever the fuck he came to the PI to do. Go do that. None of this happens. But no, you allow the white fragility in you, the Nazism in you, to kick in, and that takes over. And that's what makes no sense to me. Like, you're not a professional by any, you're just a thug running around the streets who was good at wrestling. That's it. And going back to why I was so defensive when he was coming at me, all this dude talks about online, when I talk about white fragility, his response is, I can't be white and fragile. I grew up in the hood around black and brown people. And he likes to call me like white or an elite, or I went to like private schools and shit, which I did go to private schools, but I'm not white. I'm sorry that I had a little bit more privileged life than you did, right? So he likes to say, oh, like, I'm in the hood, I'm the Diaz brothers, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, the crazy thing is, black people that I know in the hood, their objective is to get out the hood. When they get out the hood, they're not sitting here like reminiscing, oh, bro, I'm so hood. No. Also, I'm 37 years old. Jake Shields is probably like 45. 43. Thank you for my sister down there. He's 43 years old, right? We grown ass men. What we looking like fighting at the PI? Now, again, if this is some street fighting shit, different story, right? But we're at the PI. I'm 37, he's 43. What are we doing here, Jake Shields? You know what I'm saying? So this whole, when he said that was my reason for it, was like, yo, I don't know what this dude can do. Because again, I was like, he looked like he kind of like that play fight, but serious fighting. But again, it's Jake Shields. Because he ran around the internet talking about how he's a fucking thug and he lives in the hood and all these black and brown people. So it's like, all right, let me just be cautious because this motherfucker says he's hood. I know hood people. Y'all remember when Conor McGregor hopped in a PJ and flew across the country to throw a dolly through a window? That's because Conor McGregor was fucking hood. He was a thug too. He was just a thug with millions of dollars who had access to a PJ. Unfortunately for Jake Shields, he doesn't have access to the PJ like that. But it's the same sentiment. You can't go around doing thuggish shit and expect there to be no consequences. Jake Shields has to understand there are consequences for your white nationalism actions, my guy. And you are going to suffer that. You're going to be really upset. And you can blame nobody but yourself because you didn't have to do that. You said, and here's the only thing I respect Jake Shields about. One fucking thing. But it's the hood in him, right? It's the thug in him. He told me, he was like, man, Mike Jackson, when I see you, it's going to be on site. Hey, I got to respect that because it was on site when he saw me. But I can't respect that it was on site at the PI. Let it be on site in the streets. You keep talking to me, you want me to come to the gym? You know, the crazy thing was, after I healed up, you know, once all my face cleared up or whatever, I was going to run to Extreme Couture and go give him some. Also, the other thing is like because we talked about fighting, whatever. I'm gonna actually, you know what? I'm gonna tell you. My bad.
What's up?
Oh, I think you said something. So real quick, I just want to how it all started. Right, it was on Twitter. He essentially said some wild white nationalist shit about black women and women of color. I asked him a question. I checked him. I was like, "Yo, what's this white nationalist shit?" His response was, "Let's fight."
Right.
Not let's have a dialogue about your fucking racist rhetoric. But his response to me was, let's fight. And I kind of kept blowing. I was like, cool, we'll fight, but let's talk about your racism. We gonna fight. So fine. Come to Houston and we'll fight. And he was like, nah, your coach said no. My coach isn't me. I said, let's fight. And he kept, so that was the terms of the agreement. You wanted to, it was going to be on site when you saw me, when you came to Houston, when you saw me. It wasn't on site at the PI. So that's why I can't respect that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can't respect Jake Shields. And like I said, I've lost all respect for Dewey Cooper, man, as a black man in this. And I get it, it's your friend. Like talking about that spectrum of racism, right? You're going to have, just because people have black friends, that doesn't mean they're not racist. That's not how it works, right? But in that moment, I get Dewey, like, Jake is your guy. I get it. Get your guy. If that's your man, get him. Protect him so he doesn't do some shit that gets him banned from the PI, which now he's banned from the PI.
Right.
Like, that's supposed to be your man. And Dewey failed, not only failed me as a black man, he failed Jake Shields as supposed to be his boy. Like, and so for me, like, Jake Shields is just a piece of shit, and I never had any respect for him. But Dewey Cooper, the respect I did have for him is gone. So that's that.
Yeah. Well,
so that's the totality of the story. It wasn't just a 15-second clip. It wasn't like, because again, if I'm watching the clip, I'm probably thinking like, damn, Jake Shields saw Mike Jackson at the PI, and they was like talking shit to one another, and then they got into it. That's not what happened. I'm minding my own fucking business, trying to work out. And you know the crazy thing about it was, this was literally my second workout since my fight. So I haven't done anything in 2 months. Yeah. This is my second workout. I had my first workout was the day before, was on Thursday. On Friday was my second workout in 2 months. I'm trying to get back over here, right? And minding my own business. And then the fucking white nationalists come over here and do some Nazi shit. And so there. So yes, Jake Shields is a Nazi, bro. You're a Nazi, bro. And this dude walking around talking about, oh, I'm gonna sue him for slander and defamation. You can't. I got the receipts are there. Like, what are you gonna say? I wasn't saying white nationalist shit. Well, we're looking right here. This is some white nationalist shit. Like, what are we talking about? But when we're talking about suing, fine. We want to sue people, fine. I'm going to use my privilege that you say that I have, since I'm a white boy or whatever. I'm going to use my privilege, and I'm going to really show you what the fuck it's about.
So I guess the most important clarifying question, those were the two things I was going to ask about, was him claiming the defamation stuff. You addressed it there. But you have indeed pressed charges. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I need to. I'm gonna follow up with the PI to see, because they kind of told me, like, I was like, hey, press charges. They said okay, so now I just have to follow up to see what actually happened. But hell yeah, like you can't, like, that's what I'm saying. Thugs, you can't walk around assaulting people and thinking that there's no consequences for your actions. Like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? And all the people supporting him, cool, support him. Like I said, like, these people don't matter either. Like, why do I care about the opinions of people who don't like me? That, okay, you don't like me, cool. Go like the Nazi over there. Okay.
Yeah. No, of course. I mean, if people went around just assaulting each other every time they had an issue, the world wouldn't be a great place. And obviously, that's
exactly. This is where the people are okay, which is wild to me. That's the wildest shit to me. Yeah. Whatever your opinion of me, it's cool. But to say, you look at this situation like, yeah, he deserved that. All right, cool. Then you telling me, like, you're not a good person yourself. And that's fine. If you're not a good person, don't be a good person. But also, don't be a lying piece of shit, Jake Shields, talking about I'm defaming you. And then he lied. He said, I threw the first punch. Come on. What kind of shit is that, Jake Shields? You can't even be a man and own up to your own fuckery. And that's the whole thing of the white nationalism play. That's why I keep talking about the white fragility and the white nationalism, because it's the same play. You do some fuckery, and then you want to pass the blame to somebody else that you did the fuckery to. Like, no, take responsibility for your actions, Jake Shields.
Yep. And at the end of the day, as you said, it's all on camera, so the truth will come out. Not trying to use a pun with your nickname there, but nevertheless,
you're at the PI. They're at every owner of the PI. There are literally cameras everywhere, except like in the locker rooms, right? But every public space, and it's like, they got the cool little like 3D thing around the octagon. Mm-hmm. Like, they got these dope fucking high definition cameras. You spit on me twice, Jake Shields. You tried to hit me a bunch of times, and then when I wasn't looking, that was the other thing, bro. Everything they did was like some dirty cheating shit behind my back. When he tried to put, when he was looking me face to face trying to hit me, he couldn't hit me. He spit on me twice, which is, you call that whatever you want to call it. But then the one time he hit me went out before the mount. I'm looking down, and he jumped, and he's on the other side of the cage, so he jumps over the cage and slaps me and jumps back in the cage. What kind of pussy shit is that? And then this man, when I went over here and I said, yo, you a Nazi, and he comes from behind and hit me, like, what kind of pussy shit is that? If y'all want to fight, let's fight. But don't do no fucking, like, no sneak attacks. The whole time it was sneak attacks. And then when he pulled me to the ground, it wasn't like he had a legit takedown. No. I'm looking this way. He comes from behind. Got some pussy shit, Jake Shields. Jake Shields, I want you to know you were a vile piece of shit thug, dude. Like, that's it. That's it. You a thug piece of shit, my dude. Like, and you will forever live with this little moniker. I know in your white nationalist circle, people, oh, Jake Shields is God. Cool. All of y'all are fucking Nazis and white nationalists.
Fair enough. Well, I think that's a good place to leave it. Just want to ask you one other thing, unrelated to this. I know you said you're back, training and stuff. What are we working towards? Are you still under UFC contract? Are you hoping to fight next year?
Yeah, I'm under contract. I'm looking to fight next year. I have one more. And again, the whole point, like people was like, so like, oh, like your career is over and blah blah blah. Like this was never a plan. Like this, just some cool shit that happened to me, right? I'm 2-2 in the UFC. I'm 2-1 in my last 3 fights. I got one more fight on the contract. It's gonna be on 4. And I never planned to resign or anything. I'm 37 years old. I got cool shit to do. The money that I make from the UFC, like, that's fuck around money. That's not even real money. That's fuck around money. You know what I'm saying? So people who talk all this shit is like, cool. So I'm gonna do the one more fight. Well, first we'll wait to see what's up with the face. Like I said, had surgery on that recently. I actually go into to visit on Monday as a follow-up to see when I got metal plates and shit in my face. I get to see when those are coming out, and then I have to have like a follow-up surgery, like a root canal or some shit, So I don't know when I'll be. For me, I've been on a 2-month vacation. Yeah. I just been fucking around at the house, watching YouTube and Netflix and fucking trading stock, making dope money off of Tesla. Piece of shit, Elon Musk Tesla stock is going to the gulag. And I've been making mad money off of that. But yeah, man, I wanted to take this opportunity to get back in. I like the PI is like a confidence builder, an ego boost in a way. So for me, just being on the couch for 2 months, I went out to Vegas, and for me, that was a way to sort of jumpstart, get back to work out. Because I didn't know how I was going to feel. I didn't know if I was going to be dead tired, if I was going to be weak. I didn't know if my timing and I'll be tripping over myself. But I get back on the mat, and we still there. We got the shit. We just, again, for the fight that happened, I felt good in the fight. I literally just, in that moment, I did some dumb shit based off of bad habits, and it cost me big time. But outside of that, I feel solid in the fight. I didn't feel like, I felt strong. So yeah, for me, it's just like I made a fucking mistake, and again, it's fighting. Like this shit happens, right? So that's why I don't really like that happened in a competitive sporting event. So I don't even fight. Like people like, oh, you got, all right, cool, yeah, I got knocked out in a sporting event, right? Whatever. For me, I just want to make sure that I still feel I'm still solid, man. I feel good and ready to compete, and I do. I'm gonna do one more for the UFC, potentially, depending on when recovery takes place and all that. But then I got fucking people like Pat Miletich, this fucking Nazi piece of shit. He's texting me talking about, dog, this old man will fuck you up and blah blah blah, and he's talking about boxing, kickboxing, MMA. I was like, Pat Miletich, please, let's kickbox, dude. Because again, all these motherfuckers want to hold me and shit in the MMA. I don't want to deal with all that. Even though I feel like I could watch Pat Miletich MMA. I want to kickbox him, man, so bad. And it's really because he's just talking shit for no reason. Like Pat Miletich will text me at like 1 a.m. randomly and just say some wild flagrant shit. And I'm like, yo, take your old ass to sleep. You don't want these problems. But apparently Pat Miletich really wants to fight me. So I'm gonna finish this stint up a little bit, make some money, and then I'm gonna go and fuck Pat Miletich up.
Okay. Well, I guess we can talk more about that when the time comes.
Yeah, I'm with that way. I just want to give y'all a little insight on what White Nash is doing at 1 a.m. They texting me. I'm like, take the old ass to sleep. Right. Past your bedtime.
Well, man, I appreciate you being so open and honest about everything that happened here. I'm sorry that this happened to you. Obviously, when you guys go to the PI, you should be able to do your thing and not have to worry about stuff like this. But as you said, actions have consequences. So I guess we'll see how this all shakes out. But I appreciate you taking the time to chat about this, Mike.
Real quick, we got to shout out to 2 people. One, Derek Lewis. This motherfucker gonna text me, hey, you okay? I was like, you're an asshole. Oh, and we get Brennan Allen and Ryan Spann. They both checked in on me. These are my guys, man. But I appreciate them and everybody else that reached out and showed love. They both gonna be like, bro, you can't be going to Vegas dolo, like, by yourself. I was like, bro, I was at the PI. I didn't think I need to have security or goons with me. You know what I'm saying? But he brought that was a crazy fucking Jake Shields. He brought the goons with him.
No.
So my bad.
All right, Mike. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend and appreciate you taking the time, man.
You as well. Appreciate y'all, man.